Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, fan play for series V's. I've been doing for a little while now over there try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that at the time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. Doing these videos is basically just a timeline of watching my beard get grayer and grayer. But anyway, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, though? Happens to be my Killer's Confession shirt. One of a few that I have, actually. Because I've seen this band perform live a number of times. But who is Killer's Confession? So Killer's Confession started up, excuse me, close to a decade ago or so now, the time I'm doing this. Basically, they began not too long after the lead singer of Killer's Confession. He'd previously been one of the lead singers of the band Mushroomhead. He had a falling out with the band. That whole thing ended. And, he wanted to continue doing music, so he came up with his own project. Now it's Killer's Confession. And like I said, they've been at it for a while now. I finally got to see them live for the first time a few years ago. I want to say it was like 2021. And it was a blast. They were really fucking cool. And since that time, they've only grown and evolved as a group. And it's been cool getting to see the lead singer kind of as slowly re-embrace, his Mushroomhead roots and, kind of incorporate certain elements of his past into his future. I like these guys a lot. I've seen them perform live a few times now. I actually have videos of said performances on my channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're awesome. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, I've been meaning to review this one for probably over a week or so now. I finally found it, and it was just like, okay, I'll get it in. But then I just kept having other stuff and having other stuff. Finally, I got a few days off from work, for the holidays and everything. Perfect time to get it in. What is it, though? It happens to be some, boom! They are some Toasty Holiday Peanut M&Ms. Because sure, I haven't reviewed any M&Ms on here in a while. Let's get a thing for the thing. It kind of looks like that. Ha 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 ha. Sure, man. Whew. Yeah, I'd heard about these a while ago, and I just couldn't fucking find them anywhere. Then, randomly, about a week ago, I finally ran into them. M&M. Okay. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, okay, what the hell is this going to taste like? Because they're just saying, oh, it's Toasty Holiday Peanut. What the fuck does that mean? So there's definitely sort of like a toasted kind of taste to it. There's also sort of like a caramel kind of vibe to it that I'm getting. And I don't know if that's just like an expression of that toasted flavor or if they're going for if the caramel is actually supposed to be part of the flavor. It's interesting. It's very pungent. It's a strong flavor. And not entirely in a great way. My initial response was like, oh, okay, I really like this. This is nice. But then it kind of kept going. And that, toasted flavor, it feels, and I don't know if it is or it isn't, but I wouldn't be surprised. It feels like an artificial flavor that's giving it that sort of toasted vibe. And as a result, it gets to a point where it's, almost obnoxious. Because initially, it's just kind of like a nice little bite. It just gives it a little something extra. And again, it has sort of almost like a caramel kind of vibe. But then, yeah, that toasted vibe, I don't know, it kind of gets to a point where it almost becomes slightly bitter for me. And the thing that I kind of, again, going off sort of like the artificial vibe, it's almost like if, you use like too much like liquid smoke or something, and you're making something, it goes past the point of adding in a little bit of a smoky flavor, and it really does bring something unpleasant to the table. For me, that's kind of where this kind of edges on. I wouldn't say it entirely ruins it, but I think they went a little too far with it. I think if they dialed it back just a little bit, I would have been fully on board with these. Yeah, it definitely gets to a point where it kind of has like a slight bitterness. I don't really want bitterness in my M&Ms. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible or anything, but like, these are one of those things. I mean, M&M flavors for me are always extremely hit or miss, and I would honestly say that they're more miss than hit. But every now and again, I find one or two that I really, really like. This one, for me, is more of a miss than anything. Like, I have a hard time seeing myself eating, like, a bag of these, like, they're fine as a one-off deal, but I don't, yeah, I'm not super into them. Alright, well, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? No, and kinda. For me, I like the idea of what they were doing. I find the execution wanting, though. I feel like they went a little bit too far with it, and like it genuinely gets to a point where like it's a bit too much. It's almost too rich in the flavor. And then, like I said, it gets to a point where it almost feels somewhat bitter, and I don't want that in an M&M. So I really am not a big fan of these. Like, I don't find them repulsive or anything like that. I've had worse M&Ms, to be fair, but like I've had like 3 of these or something. I'm not jonesing to go back into the bag. I'll finish them off eventually, but like, yeah. So for me, I definitely wouldn't get these again. But if I'm recommending them, I could see people liking these. Like, who exactly those people are, I don't know, but I could see the appeal of these. I don't think they're like terrible M&Ms or anything, but I think that you have to sort of have kind of a specific vibe, for your palate to work off of with these. They're one of those things where I would suggest give them a shot. If you run into them, fuck it, it's a bag of M&Ms. Plus they're limited edition things, so like, give them a go. There's something to them, to be sure, like at the very least they're not boring. I've always said, doing these reviews, like I'd rather review something where I don't like it, but it's interesting, versus I kind of like it, but it's boring. And these perfectly fall into that category. It's like, they are unique tasting, like, and they don't feel like they half-assed it. If anything, they feel like, they maybe put in a little bit too much of their ass. Which begs the question, can there be too much ass? And look, great scholars of our time like Sir Mix-a-Lot have pretty much weighed in on the fact. I don't know, but give them a shot if you run into them. They're kind of fun, I guess, but maybe share them with somebody, because a bag of these things is just a bit too much. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of the year. Folks, go over there yourselves a truly mint M&M's-tastic rest of your life, because those are my favorite M&M's. Final 2, it has like a lingering taste in my mouth, and I don't like it. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. Whew. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your favorite flavor of M&M? Like I said, for me, the mint, easily. Love the mint ones. If I had to choose like an offhand second, they did these key lime pie ones a while ago, and those I really liked too. I thought those were super good. And you know, like they've done like sugar cookie ones, and like I don't know, man. Like I just don't feel like M&Ms. I don't know. I just don't feel like they're that great of a candy most of the time. Like sometimes they knock it out of the park, but like I don't know. I'm not that into them, especially as I've gotten older. Yeah. But again, every now and again they come out with one. I'm like, all right, you got. So anyway.